2.4 is drawing ever closer, and with the recent release of the cinematic trailer for the update, we can extract some information which allow us to make a guess for a possible build to kill Thargoids. Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Elite Dangerous with Down to Earth Astronomy. 2.4 is just around the corner, and today we're going to look at the cinematic trailer and we're going to see what kind of information we can extract, and we're going to try to make a build and see if we can kind of guess what kind of modules we should expect might be useful when killing Thargoids, or if we're going to go to war with the Thargoids. Something that I've personally been thinking a lot about, but with the recent release of the cinematic trailer, we can extract a little bit of information. Now, here we are in the hangar. I've decided to fit an Anaconda for this, and I'll go over this a little bit, but the main reason actually is because it's a ship that's available to most people. Of course, there's the paywall, then you need to have the credit to buy it, but you don't need to grind for specific standings to get it. That's why I've decided to use the Anaconda, but there are other reasons as well, because in the trailer, as you can see here, when they deploy weapons, they definitely looks like missile systems. You see them fire them, so we know that they are missile systems. Now, if we go in here to the outfitting and we have a look at the missiles, we can see that missiles only come in small and medium sizes, whereas in the trailer we actually see a missile rack fitted on a large hardpoint on the Fiddle Corvette. Now, of course, they could just have fitted a medium-sized launcher on the large size, but it might also be an indication that we might see larger sizes. Now, we don't know if they're gonna have huge weapons, but at least we can guess that maybe there's gonna be a large version, and I think that's plausible, because if that's gonna be the only weapon that we're gonna have to use against the Thargoids, then maybe it would be a good idea not to only have small and medium sizes. So I think there is a good chance we're going to get larger and larger sizes. Maybe it's not going to increase the damage, but it might increase the amount of missiles that you can load at once. So when it comes to loadout, what I would probably do is just for this test build, because of course we don't have access to these new weapons yet, but I'm going to approximate this by fitting Seeker missiles. In the video it looks like pack hounds, but the closest thing that I have access to right now, I don't have a lot of pack hound lying around, so I'll fit Seeker missiles, and I'm pretty much going to fit that in all the slots on the ship, apart from the huge one, because we're not sure if that's going to be available in huge sizes, so I might have to go in here and for good measures just fit whatever, I don't know yet. Okay, we'll have to wait and see, but in this case I might have to fit let's say a multi-cannon. Good all-around weapon that you can engineer to really suit whatever purpose you want. So for the rest of the slots here, I will just go ahead and I'll fit Seeker missile racks. Okay, that's it. We now have fully loaded with Seeker missiles. Of course, in the 3 large hardpoints, I've only fitted class 2 because that's the only thing we have available. But again, this is why the Anaconda might be a good build, because if we are fitting missiles, what's going to be the limiting factor is the amount of missile launchers we can fit. And that's why I think the trade-off, if we compare that to the Corvette, for instance, that getting those extra 2 large hide points rather than the extra huge might be a good trade-off in this case. So that's one of the reasons why I've gone for the Anaconda in this case. But again, this is all just speculations, and we're just guessing right now. So all of this might be completely outdated once the patch actually go live. But let's move on and let's look at utility mounts. In the video, we see them deploying a countermeasure toward this disabling pulse that the Thargoids use. Now, we don't know anything about those yet, so what we can do is we can guess again. What are they going to be like? Now, we have pretty much 2 main sources of countermeasures here. We have the ECMS and we have the chaff. Now, they do deploy them in the video. If that means that you have to fire it like you have to do with a chaff launcher, or if it's a passive module, we also have point defense, of course. But we don't know if it's going to be a passive module or it's going to be an active module. So in this case, we could fit either a chaff launcher or an ECMS to simulate it. Since they both have the same power draw of 0.2 megawatts, I'm just going to go see a chaff is the same. I'm just going to go ahead and fit an ECMS here, just to simulate that countermeasure that we saw in the video. Now, for the rest of the utility mounts, I would probably fit some a wake scanner, just because it's very nice to be able to actually scan people and scan their wakes just for the data and to gather as much information as we can. I would also probably fit a manifest scanner so we can get some more information about their ships. Might also be very useful, we don't know. So that leaves us with, how many slots we have left? 5, I think. Yeah. And then we can go and look in the video. Now I'm not going to fit any shield boosters, I'm going to go back to that in a little bit. But in the video we see the Thargoids, we get confirmed that they are using small attack drones. And that's something that of course is on par with the North. They are traditionally known as using these small fighter drones to attack. Now, how we're going to counter that, because they're going to be very difficult to hit with weapons. So maybe point defense is going to be a way to counteract them, we don't know. But I think that's going to be a good guess that maybe point defense can reduce some of the incoming damage from these fighters by shooting them down. If that's the case, I think point defense is going to be a very important module. So I'm just going to fit a few point defenses here. Maybe I'm going to go a little bit overboard by lots of them actually. Maybe going to fit 4 of them, which is a lot of point defense, to be honest. And then for the last slot, I'll just get my last point defense here. There we go. I would probably fit a heat sink. Not that we're going to have that much overheating. I don't know how much heat we're going to be generating with the missiles. That might potentially be a problem. If it is, we might have to put that down either from engineering, if that's possible, or we might have to fill a heatsink launcher to reduce some of the damage. I know they have limited use, so we might have to swap out some of the point defense for more heat sinks or something completely different. Again, this is all just guesswork, but for now I'm just going to fit a single heat sink, because that might be an important module. Okay, so that's done with the utility mounts. Let's move on to the core internals. I've already gone ahead beforehand and A-rated everything. Now we have to go back and look at the video again, and we see here when the ship is attacked by the drones, we don't see any shield effects. We don't see, it don't seem like the ship has any active shields. The shots hit directly onto the armor of the ship, which indicates that the Thargoids might, that the shield technology we have might not be effective against the Thargoid, that we might have to rely on heavy armor on the ships instead. Which is of course going to be a completely different method than what we have. Now, this theory is further backed by a small, I think that was a leak during the beta, where we could see on some of the hull reinforcement that they have something called caustic damage resistance, which is a new damage type. And I have a screenshot of it here, and thanks a lot to Commander Plater for letting me borrow this screenshot from actually one of his videos, because I didn't manage to get any screenshots or video of it during the beta. So I reached out to him, and he allowed me to use this screenshot. If you want to watch his video on these caustic damage, will put a link to the video in the one for icon, so go up and you can watch that over on his channel. Now, that kind of, because we saw that new damage type on the hull reinforcement, kind of makes me think that maybe hull tank is going to be a thing against the Thargoids. So that's why I think that fitting something in your bulkhead armor might be very important. I'm not going to do it right now because, first of all, these bulkheads are extremely expensive. But also because we don't know if there's going to be new types of bulkheads that are going to be effective against the Thargoids, what kind of damage resistances and hull boost there's going to be on them after the patch. So that's why I'm not going to fit anything here, but we might have to put something on here, and depending on how the engineering blueprints change, if we get some blueprints that will give us additional resistance against the Thargoids, then that might be very useful. But otherwise, heavy duty might be the way to go, just to get more hit points. But definitely something that's going to be important here. So if we're going to build a hull tank, we have to go down here to a military slot, of course. We're going to fit some hull reinforcements. We're going to fit some 5D. And this was where before, as we saw in this screenshot before, they will have that extra damage type. So I'm just going to go and fit that. So that leaves us with just the optional internals. I still have a lot here. Should have sold beforehand. Okay, but in here, since we're now tanking, we're now hull tanking, and the the hull reinforcement and module reinforcement only come in up to class 5. Now this might of course change after the patch, we don't know. But if we assume that it's not, we have to use our higher grade slots for something useful. And we can do a lot, because there are actually a lot of very useful modules, because now we are certainly going to be taking potentially quite a bit of module damage. So I think fitting an auto field maintenance unit in your class 7 slot might be useful, because that allows you to do repairs to your modules. Now, actually fitting several of them might not be a bad idea, because of course the Anaconda has an absolute huge amount of internal slots, so we can afford to be a little to fit a few extras just for good measures. So we're going to fit 3 of them here. Again, this is just guesswork. Most of this is guesswork here, but I think auto field maintenance unit is going to be an important module if we're going to armor tanks. So we can just repair the modules before they take too much damage and begin to malfunction. Now, another thing that's also coming in the patch, because we have no way right now of replenishing our armor once we take this damage. So what's coming is, of course, the hull repair limpets. Now, they only work after combat, but it could still be useful that you, in between combat, could repair your hull. So that's why I think fitting a hull repair limpet hull repair limpet controller might be a good idea, so you can repair your hull between fights. Once again, we do not have access to this, so I'm just gonna fit let's say a hatchbreaker limpet controller, 5A. Let's fit one of those. And that's going to simulate, of course, the hull limpet. Now we get down to the class 5 slots. This is, of course, where we can begin to actually do our tanking. And again, going to fit some hull reinforcement packs here. Going to exchange that. I'm going to fit 2 of those in the class 5. Because I feel like having a lot of armor would really help our cause here. And then, just for good measures, let's also fit some module reinforcements to help protect our modules a little bit. And maybe also fit one of them here in the class 4 slots. I know that's going to be a little bit of waste, because, oh, we can actually fit, no, there we go, class 3. No, we have class 4. Oh, I forgot. There we go. Okay, so we have the class 4 now. We still have 4 slots available. Oh, that was the planetary approach suite. That's not actually a slot. We have 3 slots available. Sell the basic discovery scanner. I like to always fly with an advanced discovery scanner, just so I can scan it. If I get into a system I don't know, I can scan it, see what planets are there, so it's easier for me to navigate and fight what I'm looking for. So I'm gonna fit that. For the last 2 here, I feel like fitting a cargo rack, of course, because we're gonna need some cargo space to carry those limpets that we're gonna use to repair our hull. 16 might be a little bit on the low side. So I feel like fitting 2 cargo racks here might also be a very good idea to let you hold a little bit more limpet so you can stay in the fight for longer. Of course, you can now synthesize them, I know, but if you're running out of materials, then you will constantly have to go down to the planets and replenish that. It's just easier to have enough with you from the station, so it's kind of a quality of life thing. But anyway, that's pretty much it. And again, remember, this is a guess. And I've shown you what I'm building this on. And you can, of course, have your own opinion. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And if there's something that I missed, if there's some information that I haven't gotten, something I've overlooked, let me know as well. Because at least I'm going to try to work with this, and as more information come, I'll try to change it up. Maybe I'm going to have to scratch the Anaconda altogether. I don't know yet. But at least for now, this is my first draft for a Anti-Thargoid ship. I hope you found this interesting, useful. If you did, give the video a like down below and consider subscribing to the channel, or maybe even becoming a Patreon. And until next time, I will see you guys in space.